let's start on our backs. I got the right angle. And we're just going to place the soles of our feet together. And just come into a butterfly. So tuck your chin slightly. So hopefully you have a yoga mat or someplace comfortable. Morning, Nikki. Welcome. So everyone's just laying down on their mat. Their soles of their feet together. And just start to notice. Don't hold anything. Try and release the tension. If you're squeezing your glutes, you can tuck your chin slightly towards your chest to lengthen the back of your neck. Just start noticing your body. If you're squeezing your glutes, just notice. You don't have to change anything, but just begin to come into your body, come into this space. Know what injuries you had over the last week or so, something that's really obvious. Maybe you remember that bumping into that table last week. You see how it's changed. And so for the next hour, we're going to try and stay in this room, wherever you are. We're going to let go what it took to get here. Rolling out of bed, cleaning your room and throwing stuff out of the way so you have a space. Whatever it is. And we're not going to worry about our homework. We're not going to be worrying about our ailing parents and all of our friends that we miss. We're just going to stay right here in this room for 1 hour. So we begin to notice our breath. You feel your belly rise as you inhale, brushing against your shirt. And just notice what it feels like, the slight contraction, drawing your navel in towards your spine. Notice the shape of your spine. You can feel it at the base of your skull. Trace it down through your neck, between your shoulder blades, and down through your low back. Extending all the way to the tail. And as you're breathing, you might notice that there's a curve in the back. It's not completely straight, and that's very good. That's very natural. So notice that low space in your spine. And as you inhale, belly rises, but the back also pushes into the mat. Yeah, exhale and find that release. You can also do the opposite. You inhale and it releases a little bit. It gets a little bit lighter. You exhale, push your low back into the mat. Let's take 5 breaths and see if we can breathe in through the nose. Feel that belly round. Exhale, push your low back into the mat. Draw your navel towards your spine. Expel all the stale air from your lungs. Inhale, expand your lungs down into the belly. Feel the belly round out. Exhale. All the air out. 3 more breaths. Focusing on your own practice, on your own body. Last big breath. Inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, we're going to leave our upper body as it is and just draw our right knee into our chest and give a gentle tug. Clasp your fingers around your knee and just draw your right knee to the outside. Just wake up that hip socket just a little bit. Notice what your left leg is doing. And inhale and extend that leg and draw the left knee in and do the same. Drawing the knee in and out of the body. Feeling the tension in the shoulders. Doing some gentle circles. Now we're going to draw both knees up so our calves are parallel to the floor. We're going to extend our right leg and point the toe and flex the toe. We'll draw the toes back towards the body and point the toe and flex the toe. And inhale, draw your knee back in and just notice the different sides of the body. The two bases of the sit bones resting on the floor, they feel a little different. And let's do the same. So inhale, the left foot extend, point the toe, really point it out like Barbie, and then flex it back. So it's straight, pointing straight at the air, and then point it, flex it, and draw it back in, calves parallel to the earth. So now we're going to try a little motion. So inhale, right leg extends, point the toe, flex the toe, bend the knee, and bring it up, and draw it back to parallel. So just like a bicycle motion. So we'll go the left leg, extend and point the toe, flex the toe, bring it up. And so you can inhale out and point the toe, right leg out, flex the toe, and draw it in. And move with your own breath, if that's easier. Inhale, extend. Exhale, flex and draw back. And just notice what the movements of your back, moving nice and slow. Notice the tension shift as you extend one leg and the other. And so in a lot of the yoga poses, we're going to try and keep our hips nice and level. So as they're pushing into the ground like this, it's really easy to feel when you're lifting one up and it's really far out of balance. But as we go into the standing poses, it might be a little more difficult. And this is actually a really strenuous pose. So if you're not going all the way, if you're not getting your feet down, that's fine. Just stay, make it easy. And as you're even out, let's let our feet drop. Now we're gonna extend our legs and arms up. So we're gonna bring our fingers together and clasp. And then we're gonna invert our palms. The palms face away from the head. We're gonna flex our feet so that the heels are pushing out. And we're gonna raise our arms up over our head and push out to the heels, open up through the armpits. Just start to feel the full length of the spine. No tension in the neck. And then inhale, hug your chest, hug your knees to your chest. And find a little rock, a little side to side, just warming up that back body. And now we're going to extend the legs and roll on to our right side. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Don't, 1 second. At home experimentation won't stop us. Don't mind the host. So we're gonna come onto our sides. And we're just gonna lay like this. I'm off my yoga mat, but I'm here. I'm just gonna lay on my side. And I'm gonna take my left hand as a kickstand in front. And so now we're gonna find that length. So we're gonna extend out through the bottom leg and try and balance as if we were on the cover of a magazine. And just find that balance. And it's really challenging, but the longer you keep that body extending out through the heels and find that length through the spine, the easier it is. And as you're ready, let's roll back onto our backs and go to the other side. So roll up. Okay, and we're gonna just take our left hand to our temple and extend out through the heels. So if you flex your feet and find it, maybe this is really easy for you, but if you're trying to find that good balance, extending out to the bottom leg. Breathing nice and deep. Okay. Now we're going to let ourselves roll over onto our belly. We're going to bring our elbows, let our forehead come to the mat. We're going to bring our elbows under our shoulders and come into a Sphinx pose. I don't know where you can see. I need like 10 cameras here. So if you have any suggestions. But yeah, elbows right under the shoulders and just work your hips. So nice and so your back is nice and comfortable so you can uncoil that spine. We're going to push our elbows straight down. And then we're going to, once we're firmly planted, we're not going to move our elbows. Well, we're going to find that action where we're drawing our elbows back, like we're dragging our hips forward. And so the goal here is not to get into this low back, it's to find the mid back. And so it shouldn't be super easy. You're drawing your shoulder blades apart. The pinky toe sides of the feet are pushing into the mat. Your glutes are turned on like 60%. You're not squeezing them, they're not making diamonds, but they are active. You have to find that degree of muscle tone. And then let's draw our hands under, wrists under our shoulders and come into a tabletop. And we'll just find a gentle cat-cow. So let the belly drop as you inhale, and the crown of the head rises. And then move with your breath. Exhale, round to the back. Let the belly drop, raise. The crown of the head drops at the bottom of your breath. And so make this your own practice. Moving with your breath up and down. Letting that head be really heavy at the bottom. No tension. And when you're ready, you can bring in side to side motion. So far, circle those hips, bring them back almost to child's pose. Start waking up your shoulders. And if you're going in circles, go the opposite direction. Try and keep that balance in the body. Very elusive. It is it's probably not attainable. Well, it depends on your scale, depends on your goal. And so here we go. We're going to thread the needle my shoulders as much as I do this. I've not been able to get tight. So before we go in, we want to do our prep work. So look down at your hands, spread your fingers nice and wide, and then draw them in 2 millimeters so you're not overextending. And feel that weight distribute through your hands. And then we're going to bring the weight consciously into our left hand, still balanced between the back of the body. And we're going to inhale, raise the right hand high to the sky. And then exhale, reach your right hand through all the way to the left side. And let your temple come down. Your right temple touches. Your left hand can remain where it is. You're more than welcome. Your shoulders should be resting on the ground. And your left hand can walk itself forward. If it's good for the shoulder, it can walk itself forward and out, forward and in. Or you can find yourself a bind. So you raise your left hand up to the sky and reach down for that right hip. All these options. You want to do what's right for you and your body. Wherever you're at, let's return that hand back to under the shoulder, the left hand back under the shoulder, and push in. Inhale, raise the right hand high to the sky. And exhale, set it down. We'll do our prep work again. So spread our fingers nice and wide. Inhale, left hand rises. Exhale, sweep it through. Reaching before you set down the shoulder, reach those fingertips as far as you can. Let your temple rest on the outside of the head. Neck is always in a comfortable position. You can move your right hand forward. Find your bind. And you're allowed to change. You're allowed to do two things if you like. We try and take our time in yoga. Feels like when if I pretend to not do yoga in the rest of my life, I get hurt and I do things silly, so I just find there's always this pressure to speed things up, and we just do things better if we do it a little bit slower. So, all right, as you're ready, bring that right hand back into position under that shoulder, and then inhale, left hand rises. Exhale, set it down. So let's find our long flat back so we're not in a cat or a cow. So you can feel the crown of your head extending forward. So your gaze is down at the floor, maybe 6-8 inches ahead in front of your fingertips. Your weight is over your knees, right? Your hips are right over your knees. And now we're gonna walk our hand one hand length forward. So where your fingertips are, we're gonna place our hand. And then we're gonna move our shoulders over those wrists. So now our knees are behind our hips. This is a modified plank. You're engaging all the upper body muscles that you would. And push down into the hands. Nice broad base. Focusing, pushing more into the index finger and the thumb, because that'll help distribute the weight better. We're just trying to keep it out. If it's into the pinky side of the hand, then the weight's just in the wrist, really. So we're trying to distribute it. So push down through your fingertips. And maybe you're beginning to feel a little tremble. So draw your hip points together and draw your navel towards your spine. Engage that core. Crown of your head reaches forward. Now you're welcome to stay here or tuck your toes and push up to plank. So pushing out to the rear end, your heels, letting your hips be heavy and lifting up behind your kneecaps, extending through the crown of the head. Continuing to breathe nice and gently. Weight is distributed evenly through the hands. Exhale, raise your hips, downward facing dog. Pushing down through the hands, making sure that index finger and the thumb are pushing down. And then just pedal out, bend one knee deeply and bend the other. Here we are, waking up the body. The neck is heavy, just let it hang. And you can shake it yes, shake it no. Whatever feels good. Just relax through the shoulders. Keep a bend in the knees. Raise those hips high to the sky. Check in with your hands. Make sure that weight is, the palms not popping up. You want to push your palms all the way into the mat. Now we're going to come up onto our tiptoes and gaze between the hands. And then shift our weight back into plank. And you're always welcome to drop the knees. And just refine that form. You can arch your back like a cow, or really weighing your shoulder blades up. So just not moving the arms, just find that middle spot, the middle path where your hips are heavy, shoulders broad in the front, broad in the back. Exhale, raise your hips, downward facing dog. And just take your time, paddle it out. Pushing down to the base of that index finger. Your head is heavy, no strain in the neck. Now we'll come up to our tiptoes, bend our knees deeply. Now take 10 steps to walk to the front of the mat. And let our head, let's dangle. Nice deep bend in the knees, the backs of the hands. As deep in the bend as you need to let the backs of the hands or fingertips brush the mat. So you can take opposite elbows. Let your head be heavy yet again. No strain in the neck. You can bend one knee and the other and sway nice and gently side to side. You can see when you bring your weight to one side, the low back just feels a little different. And it's just an awareness. It's coming to. You can call it a maturation of the brain. I'm sure there's a Hindi or a Sanskrit word, I don't remember. But it's just a recognition, you know, once you start to notice, then you can decide what appropriate action is to take. So check in with your feet. Look down the second toe. They should be going about straight forward. Now with a bend in the knees, keeping that bend, let your arms be heavy, your head be heavy. And just start, take 2 breaths to come all the way up to standing. And then inhale, shrug your shoulders up to your ears, and let your shoulder blades go down your back. Let your palms open up. And then you can close your palms around and just notice what that feels like. Opening up, feel that broadness between the points of the shoulders. And then if you rotate your thumbs in, you probably have a broad open back, you know, so sometimes that's good. There's no good or evil. So just feel that mobility. And so now let's do one more time. And when your palms face forward again, we're just going to raise our palms straight up. And then straight down, palms still facing forward. Now let's try that again with the thumbs facing in. And go nice and gentle, nice and slow. Don't force anything. Well, you probably can't go as high, right? Like there's just like a stiffness in the shoulder when your thumb is pointing in as opposed to pointing out. And so there's no good or evil in this, but it's just good to know what your body is and just how it works, you know, and there's more optimal. The shoulder is so complex. It's really open because it needs this huge range of movement. There's dozens of muscles involved. So however you can increase your awareness, because the 2 most common yoga injuries are your shoulders and your knees. So that's what I try and focus on. And then of course there's always the neck and the back and the mental blockages we experience, but that's all we can do right now. Anyway, let's find our space, find our mountain pose, nice and steady. So look down at your toes, see the second toe pointing forward, 1 or 2 fists between your feet, and take a gentle rock forward and back, and then round side to side. Just find the 4 corners of the feet, the edges. Maybe you can go into a circle, leaning into your toes, the right side of your feet, the heels, the left sides. Just find the edges, and then go the opposite direction. Maybe you put your hands on your hips, you add a little rotation. So your hands are just a guide. You don't want to overdo it. It's still 8:30 in the morning. You're going to find a little stretch through that side body. And then when you get back to the center, I'm going to pause and go the opposite direction. So start finding length through that side body, feeling the stiffness in the hips. There's always some stiffness. Noticing where your feet, where the weight is, where you're starting to lose balance. Maybe you draw that in, you don't go quite as far. And then we'll come back to center. Mountain pose. Let's inhale our hands to prayer position. Thumbs together, come to the base of the sternum. Shoulder blades resting down the back. Inhale, feel the crown of your head rise, a gentle tug from the invisible string, making your spine slightly longer. Full exhale. Inhale, extend your fingertips out and up. Lots of intention. Gaze follows the hands. Exhale, hands to heart center. Press your palms together as you bring them down. Inhale, arms rise. Extending the fingertips out and up. Gaze follows the hands. Press your palms together as you bring them down back to your heart center. We're going to add on. Inhale, extend your fingertips out and up. Gaze follows the hands. Palms press together. Now we're going to swan dive forward, leading with the crown of the head. Long, flat back. And let your fingers brush against the floor as your knees are bent. Let your head be heavy. Inhale, bring your fingers to your quads. Extend the crown of the head forward and fold. Inhale, rise. Fingertips out and up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, rise. Gaze follows the hands. Exhale, swan dive forward. Crown of the head leads. Fingertips brush against the earth. Knees nice and bent. Inhale, straighten the legs. Hands comes above the knees. Crown of the head extends forward and fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to add on. Let's see if my cameraman's any good today. He's terrible. He's really terrible. All right, so we're going to come into the full sun salutation. So we'll just nice and slow the first time. So inhale, fingertips out and up. Gaze follows the hands. Exhale and fold. Watch your head. Place your hands. Oh no, half inhale, halfway lift. Hands come to the quads. Exhale, bend your knees deeply. Plant your hands down. Step your right foot back. Step your left foot back, plank. Lower your knees. Keep your butt in the air as you bend your elbows, keeping them close in. Lower your chest. Everybody, I like to really demonstrate this one. So that's not my best demonstration. So yeah, you lower your knees and then you lower your chest and you keep your butt in the air. I'm all out of alignment. And then we're going to push down with our hands just like we did in our Sphinx. So if our elbows are out, they're out of alignment, but we want to pull them, keep them in line with the body, and then straighten your legs and find a low cobra. Push down with the tops of your feet. And then tuck your toes. You can leave your knees down, a little bit more ease, or push up to plank. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, gaze between your hands. Step forward with your right foot. And then match it with your left foot and fold. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, step the left foot back. Step the right foot back, plank. Lower your knees, chest and chin. Butt stays in the air. Push your hands down, keep your elbows drawn in. Inhale, low cobra. Toes are untucked, tops the pinky side of the feet, pushing into the mat. And tuck the toes, push up plank, downward facing dog. Inhale, come to the tiptoes, gaze between your hands, step the right foot forward, left foot forward and fold. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, plant the hands, step the right foot back, step the left foot back, plank. Lower knees, chest and chin. Inhale, pull forward, low cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes, push up plank, downward facing dog. Step the left foot forward. Step the right foot forward and fold. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, bend the knees, step your left foot back, step your right foot back, plank. Lower knees, chest and chin. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. I'm going to say step your left foot forward, but I know I messed it up earlier, so whatever it takes for you to balance your own body, do that. Your right foot forward and fold. Then inhale, arms rise. I think I need like 6 cameras here. And come to mountain pose. Oh, very nice. Yeah, so every yoga class, the teacher is trying to keep you balanced, and you want to feel, the ultimate goal is to feel balanced and better at the end of class. But I always mix up my left and my right. So whatever you think it needs to take care of your body, that's what we want to do. All right, we're going to do one more, or we're just going to use that, and we're going to launch into a little lizard sequence. So we'll come back to our mountain, find our loose body. We should be a little warmed up now. So inhale, thumbs to the heart center. Nice and body. Take a full inhale. Just relax. Feel the crown of the head rise. Full grounding inhale, drawing down into the heels. Nice strong legs. Inhale, extend the fingertips out and up. Gaze follows the hands. Exhale, lead forward the crown of the head. Fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Crown of the head extends forward. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, step the right foot back, step the left foot back, plank. Lower knees, chest and chin. Inhale, forward, low cobra. Exhale, plank, downward facing dog. Now here we are in our dog. We're going to check in, make sure our hands are spread nice and wide, pushing down to the base of that thumb, the base of the index finger. Trying to avoid weight being thrown into the wrist and the pinky side. Making sure the weight is even in the back. And so now check in with your hips. Just notice where they are. Are they exactly even? Is one rising above the other? Probably pretty even because we're nice and still here. But now we're going to draw the weight into our left foot and consciously keep the right foot flexed as we raise it up. Keeping those toes pointed at the mat. Three-legged dog. Probably a nice hamstring stretch. Raise it as high as you can without letting your hips go cattywampus. You want the hips nice and level. So notice the weight in your hands. And now we're going to step our right foot to the outside of our right hand. So inhale and draw your right hand foot all the way to the top of the mat, to the outside edge of the right hand. So the palms are down. It's like technology class. All right, so here we are in lizard pose. So there's a lot you can do. So, but the left leg is still active and engaged. It's probably fair. It can be fairly intense. So if it's too much, just come out of it. You can always drop that back knee, and dropping that back knee might give you more of a stretch if you're trying to access the groin. If you keep this front foot flexed, you can let that front knee fall to the outside. Maybe find a different part of the right hip. And so there's a lot you can do with this. You can lean forward into that front foot, push down into that heel. It's a lot of flexibility here. If you want to add more strength, you can raise that back knee and push out through that back heel. It gets into this left groin. Wherever you're at, let's see if we can find that lift back knee. Nice. Your knee is stacked right over your ankle. And then we're going to bring the weight into our left hand. And if you have a block available, I know I should have said this earlier, but if you do have a block, you're welcome to it. You don't need it in this one, but push out through that back heel. The foot is still on the outside of the front hand. And we're going to just inhale, raise the right hand high up to the sky, pushing out through that left heel. Finding ourselves a grounded twist. Now the back of the leg is really active. The gaze can go up towards the hand or anywhere else the neck is comfortable. And then exhale and set it down. Let's come back to our plank, our downward facing dog. Just pedal it out. Relaxing through the shoulders, just feeling through the legs. And of course, you're always welcome to take a pause and have a child's pose. Breathing nice and deep. All right, now let's re-find our dog. Spread our fingers nice and wide, pushing down to the base of that index finger and thumb. Hips high to the sky. And here we go. We're going to keep our hips nice and level. We're going to flex our left toes, and then we're going to raise them up. So the toes are still pointing at the ground. Your neck is nice and relaxed. So your hips are not stacked on top of each other. They're nice and level. You're not forcing it, but you're still lifting that left leg high. And then as you're ready, step that left leg to the outside of your left hand and find yourself in the opposite lizard. Yeah, most of the lunges, your foot comes to the inside of your hand, but this is the lizard, and it's a little different. So you're welcome to stay right here, pushing out through that right heel. If this is too much, you definitely can drop that back knee, untuck the toes. This can be a really intense stretch, so if you're not going hard enough, that's good. If you're backing off, we're trying to become aware here, and so just understand our own bodies, how the mechanism works. If you want to let that left knee fall to the outside, just find the different stretches, Before I started doing yoga, I was always looking for how do you get into the groin? How do you stretch that hard to reach muscle that I always hurt? And this lizard's pretty key, because there's a lot of ways you can go with it. You can lean, you restack that foot and put your foot back on the ground, and you push down through that heel. And you can find engagement, push down through the pinky toe side of the back foot. And you find a little more, and it's really subtle. Take your time with all this. You can't rush success. This is a work of art, this human body. So the whole time we've been breathing nice and calmly. All right, now let's tuck that back toe, raise up that back heel, push back plank, and meet in downward facing dog. If you want, you're welcome to take a child's pose for a few breaths to let your, oh wait, I totally forgot. Everybody come back to your left lizard. So step your left leg back forward to the outside. Keep your right hand grounded. Inhale, raise that left hand up. There we go, a nice grounded twist. Thank you, Tony, for keeping your camera on. Yeah, so push out through that back heel. Open up, find the dimensions. Exhale, set the hand down, step the foot back, push back, downward facing dog. Drop down to your knees, let the forehead come down, and find a child's pose. So now we're gonna, as you're ready, wake back up, tuck the toes, transition back, downward facing dog. Now we're gonna come into a little side plank, nice and warmed up. So you can do it from plank, but I think the shoulder position is easier here. So we're just gonna roll on the left side, outside edge of our left foot. And then as the balance comes to us, we just rise up. And you're definitely welcome to take that top foot and set in front as a kickstand. And see if you can raise those hips up. Raise that right arm high to the sky. Being gentle with your neck. You can drop that back knee too. Just make it easy. You can still feel that side of the core engaged. So whatever level you like. Breathing nice and deep. And exhale. Bring it back. Plank. And push back, downward facing dog. I'm going to take it to the opposite side. So roll onto the outside edge of the right foot. Stack your wrist and your shoulder aren't quite stacked. Your wrist is slightly in front of your shoulder probably. You're lifting your hips high to the sky. Long spine so your neck is not cramped. Left arm extends up. Lift those hips a little bit higher. And exhale. Push it back, downward facing dog. Let's come into a little pigeon. So while we're here, so we're going to intentionally raise that right foot again. So mentally flex that foot and then keep the toes pointed at the mat as you raise it up. Nice long spine, just picture it. And we're going to bring our right ankle to our left wrist. So bring it through. Right ankle to the left wrist. And then extend that, walk that back leg back and sit up nice and tall. Take a glance behind you and see if your ankle's all cattywampus, all the wrong direction. See if you can straighten it, bring everything into alignment. Now this is going to be a big hip opener. This is called a pigeon. So I'm going to see if we can do it right. So we're going to lengthen up through the spine, reach out to the crown of the head, and then walk the hands forward, keeping that spine nice and long. If you have a block available, you can rest your forehead on it and just start bringing your weight forward. You can bring your weight all the way to the ground. That's great too. Key is not getting hurt because that'll keep your yoga career really short and may make it not as enjoyable. And then right now, it's the thing I really look forward to. You know, it's like the best part of my day when I do it, you know, and generally just makes me feel better. So it doesn't matter what day, but right now Yeah, that's a good thing. Hopefully you can all say that yourselves one day. So these hip openers you tend to hold for about at least a minute because it just takes so long, and the hips are just really rigid. So you don't want to stretch it really fast and really quick. You just want to hold it. And then in 2 to 20 years, we'll be doing the splits. We'll be doing all that. So inhale, walk your hands back at your own pace. Tuck the back toes. We'll push back up, downward facing dog. And we'll go to the opposite side. So intentionally find your hands, push down with your base of your index finger and base of your thumb. Inhale your left leg high to the sky, keeping those toes pointed at the mat. So you'll probably feel some inner rotation in the thigh. Hips are nice and level. And now we bring it in through left ankle to the right wrist. Keep the ankle active. Sit up nice and tall. Walk back. Check in with that back foot. Make sure it's going in the right direction. And then you can walk your hands forward, keeping that nice length through the spine, supporting yourself with a block or something else if you like. This is your practice. You're supposed to do what makes you feel good. So if the cues I'm using are not guiding you in a good direction, you are free to make yourself feel better. See if you can let the weight sink into your hips. You reach that back foot a little further back. And just relax. Continuing to breathe. A moment of stillness. And as you're ready, we'll inhale and walk our hands back under us. And push our fingers into the mat and push back downward facing dog. Then we'll meet in a seat facing forward. We're just going to have a seated twist. And so we're going to take our right foot. We're going to place it on the outside of our left knee. If that's not possible, this left leg can be extended. So we can just place it like this. This also works. And so the key here, I'll demonstrate this one though. So this leg, it's roughly parallel to the front of the mat. The key here is to get your sit bones to sit. And my hips are not very open. So my right hip is lifting way up. And so sometimes a physical adjustment of your glute flesh is worthy. So here we're going to sit up nice and tall. Inhale, feel that string on the crown of your head and raise that left hand up. Then we're going to exhale. You can reach around the front of your right knee, or you can plant your elbow on the outside. And then inhale and sit up nice and tall. And then on your exhale, look over your right shoulder, draw your right rib cage back. And so with each inhale, you can still come out of the pose just a little bit, grow a little bit taller, and then exhale and gaze a little bit farther over your shoulder. As you're ready, inhale and release. And we're going to go to the opposite side. It is possible to keep your feet exactly where they are and spin, or you can just uncross your legs and cross them the other way. That is my favorite move. It's my only dance move. So wherever you're at, and of course, you're always welcome to have that leg extended if that's better for your body. But you can get a bit of a deeper twist So adjust your sit bones so both of those bony parts are finding the ground. It's not going to be balanced, but it can be better than it was. So sit up nice and tall. Feel that string. Inhale, raise the right hand. Exhale, bring the right elbow to the left knee, the inside or the outside. Inhale again, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, draw the left rib cage towards the back, gaze over the left shoulder. Breathing nice and deep. This is where your breath work comes in, because even though your body's all contorted, you can still find room to breathe. And as you're ready, inhale and release. Let's come onto our backs. And we can draw our knee to our chest and find the difference in our hips. And try the other knee. And you can use this minute in your practice, or two, whatever you like. I'm going to find a happy baby by grabbing the outside edge of my feet or the calf. And you can just gently rock. But if you have an inversion you prefer in your practice, whatever you like. I do recommend staying through Shavasana. It is really the, oh, it's just a good hug. You know, it's a good way to start your day with a nice hug to yourself, because we so rarely are awake and laying still. And it's, you know, it's hard to force ourselves to do it, but whatever it is. So if you find your happy baby, any other thing your head wants, your neck wants, feel free to do it. And as you're ready, just extend your legs. We're going to come to Shavasana. So you let your feet be the full mat width apart, a little bit wider than your hips. And let your feet fall to the outside so you can feel the tension in your hips relax. If you have a blanket or a sweatshirt, it's nice to put it on so you don't catch that chill after working hard. And then we're going to draw our palms down, or palms face up, and draw them away from your body, maybe 6 or 8 inches, maybe even a foot. So you can feel your chest open, your shoulder blades sink down your back a little bit. Find a slight tuck to your chin to lengthen the back of your neck. And just start scanning your body. You're welcome to keep your eyes open or find to gently close your eyes. And just release. Let your body melt into the earth. And try and keep yourself in this room. Relaxing the body into the earth. Let go of your breathing. See where you're still holding tension. So release your glutes. Notice your jaw. You're still clenching down. The muscles around your eyes. Just relax. Breathe. Begin to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. You can roll your limbs in and out, just gently waking up. As you're ready, we'll take that full body stretch we did in the beginning of class. So interclasp your fingers, push them up over your head, flex your toes back towards your body. Feel that full body. And as you're ready, keep your right arm raised as you roll over to one side. Or, give yourself a big hug. Yeah, whatever you like. And we'll transition. Take a full round of breath on your side body. And as you're ready, help yourself up to a seated position with both hands. We'll bring our hands to heart center. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. The spirit in me recognizes and respects the spirit in you. Namaste.